on our way.
On our way.
Give it a thumbs up. What are we doing?
Going to Nashville.
Are you excited?
Yeah. Hi guys. I am from Michigan. Oh yeah, a lot. It's crazy.
I was got to know your music through Reverb Nation, and then I started following you on social media. I heard a lot of your videos on YouTube, and you've really built a nice following for yourself.
Thank you.
When did you start? When did you actually start singing?
So I've been singing for like so long. I was really little. I would be singing, but professionally, I didn't start singing till about 3 years ago.
And were you just were singing around the house? Do you come from a musical family?
Yes, so I would always sing around the house, once I started getting a little bit older though, like around 11, 12, my dad started listening to me. I was so shy though. I would hide behind the, like, not hide, well, not hide, but I would like turn around and sing in front of people because I was so scared of being judged. And my dad just thought I had a lot of potential and he was like, let's get you out there. So
Now you play piano and guitar. I see too on your videos. When did you start playing those instruments?
So I actually started playing piano first. I think I started playing piano when I was in 6th grade. I was like, I want to pick this up. I want to start writing some songs. So I'm self taught on both. Well, kind of. On guitar, I started about, I want to say like a year ago, actually. And I had a guitar teacher for a little while. And I got so busy, I couldn't continue to keep up with lessons. So I had to drop that, but he taught me enough to where the more I play, just getting better.
And probably watching your father, watching your siblings play as well. Did that teach you a lot too?
Yes. So my dad sings and my brother plays guitar. So my brother's always trying to teach me some new stuff on the guitar, and my dad, with his previous experience in singing when he was younger, he's taught me a lot. So yeah.
So, what styles of music are you influenced by, and who are some of your favorite artists that you find inspiration from?
So, my style of music is kind of, I'm trying to find a good balance. I think when I started coming into the industry, I started doing country music. And, that's what I would play at all my shows and all that stuff. But I really found that the artists I was listening to weren't so country. And I decided that that wasn't really the route that I wanted to continue to go down. So now I am trying to find my balance in between like an indie pop kind of vibe here because I don't want to be like Ariana Grande or anything like that. But I just like kind of chill, just kind of vibey, but not so country anymore. So yeah,
Who are
Some
some
of
of
my
your favorite artists in all of those genres? It's always interesting to see who people's favorite artists are.
I have a lot of genres I like. Oh man, let me think. So in indie, I'm really obsessed with people like Louis Capaldi, James Arthur. I love Holly Humberstone, Phoebe Bridgers, uh, Lizzie McAlpine. So yeah, I just love so many to name. I can't say all of them.
And what other genres do you listen to besides the indie genre and maybe the country genre? What are some of the other genres that you like to listen to just when you're home?
So I'm crazy. I can literally listen to anything. I'm pretty good at finding respect for all types of genres of music. So if you like pick a genre, I can name a bunch of songs I love. So I listen to everything, man.
It's amazing. You find with great artists, you can pick and draw inspiration from so many places. Just on this show, we feature a lot of classical musicians because I'm a classical musician, but I also love contemporary genres. I love the singer-songwriter genres. I love the indie genres. I have a lot of rock bands coming up, and it's just kind of fun to tweak how they get their sound and how they find their cohesion and how they find their groove. It's really interesting to me. So what was the first song that you wrote?
The first song that I wrote, that I actually ended up producing. I wrote a couple songs, quite a few songs before it, but the first one that I would be like, yes, that's my song, was called "What Heaven's Like," and I ended up producing it. It was for my aunt who passed away a couple summers ago, and I kind of wrote it in like the grieving process, and I was just kind of like, tell me what heaven's like so I can be with you there. So we ended up
Wow.
producing it. I loved it, and I really wanted that to be my first original song that came out because it was really important to me and my family. So
What a fitting tribute. That's something to immortalize someone and to capture that memory. Isn't it, some of the greatest music ever written is for that very purpose, whether it be from the classical period or whether it be from today. And that is a universal human theme that we can all understand and we all feel that sense of loss and that sense of love.
right.
And what was it like to watch it come to life? From the writing process to the producing process, then to see people, what's it like to see the reaction from people like your fans who get to enjoy that music?
So watching the song come to life, that's actually one of my favorite things about creating music and coming into the studio is watching my little demo recordings of songs become produced. And it's my favorite process ever. I love being involved with the production and the instrumentation and everything. I just love watching the entire song come together. And I loved it, and I was really pleased in the studio. We changed quite a bit from the original, but we kept some important parts in there. So I was really pleased, and watching my fans come on and say that they found the song in the best of time because they just lost somebody, or they can totally relate because their grandpa died a couple years ago, and just watching it touch people and finding some peace inside my song, it's just totally awesome. It's a feeling you can't recreate. So
Well, that's really beautiful. So when you write music, what comes first, the words, the lyrics, or is it the music? And how do you how do you meld those two together?
so it really depends, honestly, on the day or just how I start. Something that's really interesting that I do is I find it that I will get stuck sometimes when writing. If I'm writing on my guitar, generally, I just pick out some chords, start playing, and start trying to hum a melody to it. So I feel like melody generally comes first, but it's also really dependent on the instrument as well, because when I get stuck on guitar, I'm like, okay, I've got a mind block on guitar right now. I'm gonna move to the piano, and my mindset just totally is different. And it's awesome that it's like that because I can just switch it up.
It's nice to have the flexibility to go back and forth and kind of give yourself more colors on the tonal palette.
Yeah.
And take us backstage to the production process. When you're how does your music change when it goes from conception, when you write the piece by yourself in your room and you write it, and then you bring it to the production part of the phase? What's that like, and where do you go to produce?
So I go to produce in the studio with my producer. I used to be in a studio. Actually, I don't know if you know who Michael Tate is, but he's a huge
Certainly the
Christian.
name, sure. That's a big name in the field.
Yeah, he's a huge Christian artist in the Newsboys band, and I used to record at his home in Nashville. But since COVID, we had to kind of adjust, can't really go in anymore. But I go to my producer's house, and he has built an at-home studio for us to go work at, and sounds just the same. It sounds great. I've been recording there, and again with the coming in from the songs, how the song is when I write it at home to versus when I go in, honestly it's so awesome to me, again, that whole entire process of seeing it all come together. I write all my songs super, a lot of my songs are really super stripped back, they're on the guitar, they sound, they're just very chill, and then we get into production and he's like, boom, let's let's get this to be a banger. And it just depends on the song, but it really comes to life, and it's so incredible to just watch the process.
I watched some of the effects of a new producer on famous bands that I like the 70s rock bands that I like. You could hear from album to album when the producer changes how the character of the band changes.
Yes.
It must be fascinating to take a song that you've conceptualized, you put together, then watch it shift and change into something new and exciting. And it's like, what I love about music myself, about making music, is the effect that the colleagues I work with have on the music. So for
Right.
you, what does your producer bring to it that you may not have thought? What are some things you've learned?
So some things that I've learned, he kind of gives me a different lookout on a lot of the songs I write. And I'm a very big sad song fan. I write so many sad songs. That's just my vibe. And I'll bring it in, and he's like, "Okay, I know you love sad songs, but let's try to look at this song in a different light. Let's try to look at it as, oh, I'm not sad because you left me. I am gonna find myself now." So actually, a song that's releasing in hopefully in a couple months here, that I just got done writing and producing. I came in, and it was very much like, oh man, I can't believe you did that to me. But now it's like, I'm over this. I'm gonna find myself. I'm gonna take myself back. So he just kind of gives me a different look out on things, and he's fantastic with instrumentation, and coming up with awesome things to put into the mix to really bring it.
So how does a song change from, so the songs you've written and produced, how do they change from taking it from the writing process to the producing process, you release it, and then the live performance aspect?
Oh yeah. So something I love to do with produced songs that I have, when I go to perform them live, I love stripping them back. I love doing that. I love it so much because it's not, I am not a huge fan of doing backing tracks. I do them for some shows because stuff like New Year's Eve, you can't
Necessity.
really, right, you can't really pull out a guitar and be like, all right, let's bang this out, guys. So I have to use backing tracks for bigger shows like that people really want to be engaged, entertained, like party stuff. You know what I'm saying? Um, but when it's just chill kind of coffee house stuff, I'll pull out my guitar and I'm like, so this song's produced. We're gonna do a little acoustic version of it, and I also like to change it a little bit actually when it's live, and I do some more ad lib stuff to kind of make it my own versus the production version. But yeah, it's exciting. It's fun.
So let's talk about live performance. When was your first live performance that you and what was it like, that first show?
Mhm. So my first live performance was probably when I was 13. I did this little competition thing, you could call it. It was in my area, and it was like a Christmas like singing competition. I don't remember exactly what it was called, but it was really exciting. I was really absolutely nervous because obviously I'd never really performed, um, also competed before for something like that. So I was extremely nervous because there were a lot of great people going up as well. And I sang actually another one of my produced songs now, Hallelujah, for the concert or the competition. And I ended up getting first place. It was very exciting. And, people liked my version of it so much, and they were like, you got to get this out. So that was the absolute first thing that I ended up producing.
So it gives you a lot of courage when you get out there and you get that first jolt of adrenaline. And do you have stage fright? Have you ever had stage fright issues? And how do you deal with that?
Oh, yeah. Stage fright. I had it so awful when I was really young. That's why it took me so long to actually start going into professional performing and all that good stuff. But, I was so nervous. I hated singing in front of my family, hated singing in front of other people. You know, it was, oh man, I was so scared. I would post some stuff on social media when my parents weren't around. I would like record little things and stuff like that. But I actually started getting involved with my school's theater program, and I ended up doing some theater stuff and some musicals, and ended up getting a huge role in one of the shows we put on, Elf, for Christmas time. And I went out, I did it, I got some good feedback from it. I was extremely nervous, but after being involved with the school especially and putting yourself out in front of your peers first,
It's always tough.
yeah, it was so hard because peers will judge you. They're right there, they're with you all the time. So I think that honestly helped me more because, getting in front of a harder crowd first made it easier for me to go out in front of people I didn't really know. So
So how has that process been as your career has grown and you've started producing and performing more? What are some of the top performances you've done in the last couple of years, pre-COVID, of course?
of course. Um, so some of the biggest shows I've done definitely would be the balloon festival that we do here in my hometown. It's a huge festival that we do, and I got to perform the Star Spangled Banner. And hardest song ever, by the way. That song, oh,
It's got
I dread
an
performing it.
octave and a third range. That's one of the biggest ranges in any national anthem of any nationality. Trivia point there.
Crazy, and I honestly dread singing the song, but I'll do it because it's good exposure. But I dread singing the song, but I went out and I did that. Also New Year's Eve I do a show. Last year I did my first show for them, and they're going to continue to have me there doing it. And it's awesome to be able to do thousands of people come in for that show. And it was my biggest show. I was really nervous for it, but now I just get so pumped to do it now because it's like people love it. It's like partying, and it's awesome. It's fantastic.
What's it like to feel an audience just loving the music you're making, and to like an event like the New Year's Eve where everyone's out to have a good time? What's it like entertaining people and giving them the music that they enjoy?
It's so comforting because when you get out and you start singing or performing, if the crowd is dead and they're not really feeling it, for me at least, it makes me very self-conscious, and it makes me feel like, oh, what am I doing wrong? Like, I'm like, I want to entertain so badly, but if the crowd's not involved, it's really hard to feel like you're entertaining. You know what I'm saying? So especially at a big event like that, New Year's Eve actually this year, I fortunately got to perform, but you know there was a really small crowd, and you had some people dancing, they were having fun, but it was so quiet. And if you're doing such like banging songs and it's really quiet, it was really difficult for me to continue to try to entertain. And a lot of it comes with talking to the crowd as well. So if you don't have anyone to talk to, it's really difficult to feel like you're entertaining and being an entertainer, and that's one of the hardest parts of performing.
That's one of the parts I love. As a conductor, an orchestral conductor and I'm an opera conductor, and I love, and I also direct choirs and a lot of that stuff. It's the same thing. The connection with the audience is so crucial, and we feed off that as performing artists. And when we don't get that back, we're like, what am I doing wrong? I'm going to give more. And that's sometimes when I go on tour, I can be at a different theater every night, and it's amazing the difference that the audience makes for all the performers. We all want to give more when we feel people are enjoying it, and we give more. We try to give more and to compensate when we have a dead audience as well.
Right.
Yeah, so you've really been. What have you learned from the stage? I mean, I always find, and I'm 46, I'm ancient, but I still learn every time I'm out there. I learn something new. What are some of the lessons you've learned by being on the stage?
So being on the stage, when I first started, I was really bad at, trying to be involved with the crowd and trying to entertain. One of my first shows that I did, it's another one of our big, huge music festivals that we do here. We do a lot of festivals. I'm realizing that now, but
that's great that there's that possibility to do those festivals and to grow and to learn and to engage with audiences that are local.
Oh, it's awesome. But I'm a huge person. I get really chatty, and something I've learned is to stop talking. Sometimes it's good to just stop talking. It's great to talk sometimes and entertain, but I would talk too much, and it would just show how nervous I was. And I'd be up there like sweating, and I'd be like for so long, and my parents would just be in the corner like. So I've learned to kind of, drop the talking a little bit and further schedule out what I'm going to be talking about rather than allowing it to just be freehand, because that's when things get messy. So
how hard is it with a longer set? What type of sets are you used to playing?
So recently for my online shows, I've been doing about 2-hour sets.
Wow.
No break. Just because, and for me, it doesn't even feel like 2 hours, to be quite honest with you. Obviously online it's a little bit easier because you can't see how people are reacting to you. So I mean, obviously people will comment and people will like and all that kind of stuff, but it's not, I feel like it's not as hard, or what's the word I'm looking for,
it's not as direct.
Yes, it's not as direct, it's not as intimate, and so it's a little bit easier for me to continue my set. And I love online because I'm like, I don't have to entertain anybody. Well, I do have to entertain people, but I can do what I want to do, and I'm not afraid that people are going to dislike it. I'm not afraid that people aren't going to be involved with it. And I find that whatever you do, you will find people that will like what you do. You don't always have to change what you want to do to fit someone else's ideal, if you know what I'm saying.
It's great advice to be yourself and to find your own unique voice, and that there will be an audience if you believe in yourself. I like that a lot.
Well, yeah, because that's what I've learned is I was always trying to, with the country, everybody here, a lot of people like country. I'm going out, I'm doing my shows. People loved it. And I kept doing it because people loved it, not truly because I loved it. And so when I switched over, I find that people do like what I do. If I do what I want to do, people do like it. And that's the whole point of building a fan base. You should build a fan base around what you want to do, not what other people want you to do.
When did you do your first online concert, and how many have you done?
So first online concert, oh wow, man. Probably would be around the same time. I would say 13, 14.
Okay, so right at the beginning of your performing. Interesting.
Well, my parents were really pushing. They were like, let's do online shows. Because, when you first start, you really want to be promoting and getting yourself out there because no one else is doing it for you.
Absolutely.
So I was really pushing. I was doing a lot of online shows. I think I was doing 2 or 3 a week. I would go on, I think, Wednesdays and Fridays, something like that. And then maybe one on the weekend added in. And, just really kicking it out, building a fan base, People were coming onto my stuff, and I was like, please share the live, do all this, and people were doing it. And that's how it kind of built up from there.
And you're probably one of the first generations, and maybe not before you, that was even an option for. I mean, when I grew up, that didn't exist, certainly, and I think that is really an advantage that singers coming up today and artists coming up today can take advantage of, is that you can make your own way, that you can find your own audience without in this virtual platform.
Right. Well, yeah, I'm super grateful for that kind of thing because, I feel like the perspective on music has totally changed throughout the years too. A lot of the stuff that's out now probably wouldn't have been as accepted a couple years ago. So it's really awesome that we have the internet to locate those people that are gonna like what you do. And this generation is just awesome with helping artists out too.
So what's it like getting feedback from people online and from meeting fans from all over the world? What's some interesting stories you could tell us about putting your music out there, and I'm always amazed when someone contacts me about the show or my conducting from another part of the world that I've never been to. I just think that's so neat that what we do as artists can affect other people across the planet.
Yes, it honestly, it makes me so happy because I just love when somebody likes what I do. It's like a self-esteem boost. It just makes me really happy as well. I had a gal contact me probably about a month ago with my song What Heaven's Like, and she posted it and she said, oh, she never fails to make me cry. And I guess it was the anniversary of her grandpa's death, and it makes me feel so happy that somebody can be in touch with what I was saying and understand the words of what I was trying to portray and really take that on themselves. I've also had people reach out to me, and my song 10,000 Hours, I don't know if you would say it blew up, but for me, I got pretty good traction on the song. I've had multiple people hit me up and say, I'm playing this at my wedding. Like,
Aww.
And it's so awesome. I'm like, I don't want to be weird and be like, will you record it? But that's so awesome to me that somebody is going to use my song for such an important event of their life that they're always going to remember. Like, I just think that that's awesome.
That's to have that impact on other people is such an important thing for artists, and you're so young that you're going to experience this, and it's going to only grow as you get older and you deepen your connection with the music, and as your experiences grow. I look forward to seeing where your songwriting is going to take you, because it's amazing how life informs all of the art that goes with us.
Yes.
We have a question from the audience. Jessica from Miami asks, "What do you do when you're not making music?"
Making music. All right.
Sounds like you're making music most of the time, but I'm the same. When you're not doing that, what are some things you enjoy doing?
So, some things that I enjoy doing. Oh, wow. This is a lot. I was going to say, I like to write songs. And then I was like,
I'll buy that.
It goes with it. I'm not sure. I'm really into artsy stuff, so it's all going to fall in like the art kind of category, but I love to draw. I love to write poetry. Obviously, that's kind of like songwriting, but I do love to write poetry. I'm sorry, just had a moment. I love to write poetry. I love to draw. I like to crochet, if you know what that is. I'm kind of like a grandma in that sense, but I love to do that. I also love to take pictures. I'm into photography stuff too, so yeah.
So you're a full-rounded artist, and the visual arts. How does the visual arts connect with your videos? I know you've got really nice videos on your music, and how have you developed those? And I look forward to seeing how you're going to include your love of the visual arts into those.
So it's just nice because when you really can look at the world in that kind of perspective, it's really good for songwriting, especially because you can come up with like super cool terms that like people wouldn't think of. Like I don't know, like it's so cool to be able to kind of transport them, if you know what I mean. Like take what you see and kind of put it here, because a lot of people don't have that perspective and can't understand the value and that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Well, it's so important that the visual is so important to our society, having the visual representation of your music. And have you, how much input do you have into your videos and the pieces that you've put on the social media?
So I have a lot of input because I do a lot of it myself. My uncle did my video for Adore You, and he also did my video for 10,000 hours. And with that, we were just like, all right, let's go. For Adore You, we went to Detroit. Not Detroit. Where was it at? Detroit. Okay, it wasn't Detroit. I'm silly. We went to Detroit and we went to a bunch of different places. They had like this, oh my gosh, this like ship. Like I don't even know. It was like not a ship. It was like a boating dock, and it was like abandoned. And we were like, let's go there because it was just
Perfect.
cool. It was awesome. Like you just find little things, and you don't have to have something I've learned right now. You don't have to have this high production team. You don't have to have great camera quality. You don't have to have, a bunch of people surrounding you and telling you and producing this for you. You don't. My generation, like our generation, doesn't care anymore. Like it's great that Taylor Swift can come out and she can do this high produced video. She has the resources. I don't have the resources. I can, as I'm releasing a video tonight, I filmed it at my house. It's literally me in a sweatshirt lip syncing to the song. And you know what? I'm down. Like I feel like people will like it. A lot of the artists that I listen to that have gotten quite big. I know a gal, Gracie Abrams. She released one pretty similar to what I'm gonna release tonight. She's just chilling in her bed, like lip singing, and she got like 5 million views on the video, and it's like
Amazing.
good for her. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
it's about the music in the end, and hopefully the video enhances the music,
Right,
but
of
it doesn't need to be the most flashy thing in the world. I had a rap artist, the first one I've had. She was a 23-year-old rap artist from LA, a singer-songwriter, and her first video was like you said, it was very emotionally direct. She did it with her family, and she grew in production value as she did them. But the first one's gotten the most views and was really just produced just like you do, and it enables more people to experience the music.
Mm-hmm.
What has been your favorite concept in your videos? You've done a bunch now. So what has been your favorite concept that when you look at that, it's like, that was really cool?
I would have to say probably my video that I did for More Than My Hometown. I wasn't even, it wasn't really me focused, like myself, but it was more surrounded around my family. And I kind of did like this cute video because we are a blended family. And I kind of did this video that was like, because there's a little line in the song that's like, boy, our mamas are best friends. And so are we, or something like that. And I was just like, oh, that reminded, for whatever reason, I was like, boy, that reminds me of my brother. I don't know why. And so I was like, let's do this. So I just put this little video together of my siblings and and I kind of let the video kind of see us grow up. I took really young videos of us and slowly made it so that we got older. And at the end, I put like a little wedding clip of them getting married. And I just love that video so much because I think it means a lot to my family. And, a lot of families also enjoyed it because, they could relate to it. They like seeing that kind of stuff.
How important is your family to your music making and to you as a person? What does that mean when you're writing music? And you obviously have a lot of support from your family. How does that make you feel?
I'm really grateful and really fortunate to have that support from my family, especially with, my dad getting me gigs and getting me connections with people. I'm so fortunate that he has that experience, and I'm so fortunate that they support me in that because there's no way that I would be out being able to do all this stuff without that, right? Because I say this all the time. My parents, they fund my existence. Like they are putting so much money into me, and I'm so grateful for that. I feel awful about it. I'm like, I'm so sorry.
There's no better investment than your children. We love. I'm a dad of 4, so I can relate. So it's so important to, and it's as a dad myself, to watch your children grow and to do incredible things there's no greater gift in the world.
Yeah, they tell me that they're so willing, and I, they like to tease me about it, but they say they're happy to do so. So it makes me really grateful.
So what are some of your goals as you grow and as your career grows? What are some things you want to do in this business?
So some stuff that I want to do, really, I want to really hone in on my genre and make sure that I'm, really leading to the audience that I want to get to. Um, Obviously, you're going to get people from other genres that are going to be like, oh, I like that too. But I'd really like to start growing, and especially this year, I'm really working to work on my songwriting a lot. Especially, I've grown so much in songwriting already during COVID. Like COVID was prime time for my songwriting, and it's crazy because I couldn't find a lot of time to write before COVID, and then we're at home all the time. I'm emotionally deprived. I'm not seeing anybody, so I'm like, let's start writing, and I ended up writing like 2 to 3 songs a day, and I still do
Wow.
that. And it's like I'm happy to do it though, and I don't even realize how long it takes. I'll be sitting down at the guitar. Yesterday I was at my piano. I was literally sitting there for like 5 hours during the day writing this song, and I'm not even done with that. I only wrote up to the first chorus, and I don't even realize how long I'm sitting there doing it. But I'm writing multiple songs, and I just get so many ideas every day that I'm just like, let me go get my guitar real quick.
Do you have your notebook? How do you keep all that track of that? I know Beethoven, for example, he used to have a notebook next to his bed. He'd wake up and he'd have a melody in his head, and he would jot it down so he didn't forget it. Otherwise, it disappears into the dust, into the ether.
Yes.
How do you keep track of all these ideas as they come to your head?
It's so difficult. Something that I really have found love for is this app that comes with all iPhones, Voice Memos. Voice Memos is that's my best friend. I probably have 2,000 voice memos on my phone. It's really bad because they don't like to download into the iCloud
You're going to
sometimes.
need new data cloud, new cloud, or
Yeah.
new storage.
Yes, but if I think of a melody, I will just sing it into my phone. I'll record it and then record it on my guitar or something like that. And if I think of words, I do have a few notebooks that I'll write in, or I use the Notes app on my phone if I don't have my notebook with me. So, yes.
Technology is an amazing thing. Imagine if Beethoven could have just reached over and hummed that tune into his phone. He didn't have to write it down. And yeah, it's amazing how technology can aid us and assist us as we move forward.
Oh, yeah.
So you have a song coming out, you said released very soon. Tell us about that one.
So tonight at midnight, I am coming out with a cover of "Anyone" by Justin Bieber, and I put a video together for it. I stayed up till 2:30 in the morning last night putting it together. Oh, I was exhausted, but I recorded it in my own home, and it's really just me, lip syncing. I've got a sweatshirt on. I'm dancing around my house. I'm having a good time. I'm really excited for the song because it's very much like 10,000 hours with the production. I wanted to shoot for that kind of vibe because people seem to really like it. And so, yeah, I'm super excited for it to come out. I think it's a beautiful song, and I put my own little spin on it, and I think people are going to like it.
And how can people watch that performance as it comes out tonight? I encourage people to check that out.
So if you guys want to follow me on my medias where I'm going to be promoting it, you guys can follow me on Instagram at ada.leann. If you want to follow me on Facebook, you can follow me at Ada Leann's Music. And then on all streaming platforms, including YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff. If you want to listen to the release when it comes out at midnight, it's just going to be Ada Leann with a capital A in Leann.
So I wanted to encourage everyone to check out the music of this really dynamic and I think rising star young performer who we're going to hear great things from in the months to come and years to come.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ada, for joining us on Music Matters, and I look forward to hearing your premiere tonight.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Continued success, and we'll talk soon.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on Music Matters with Jason Tramm. Please remember to subscribe to us on YouTube and hit that bell icon for the most up-to-date information on upcoming guests and topics. Like and share our videos on social media and those same platforms and that we're all on. And make sure you join us for our next show, which will be today at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We've got a virtuoso tenor opera singer, also ukulele player, and he sings in a Queen cover band, Philadelphia's own Justin Gonzalez. You're not going to want to miss that, a dynamic and inspirational artist right there. Thank you so much, and remember, keep music alive.